So yesterday we had seen different layers, right? Atmosphere has different layers, right? 5 different layers. Can you name them? Anyone? What were the 5 layers which we had seen yesterday?
Ma'am, may
Yes,
I?
yes, yes. Yes,
Ma'am,
Sabrina.
troposphere,
then the stratosphere,
Troposphere,
the
stratosphere,
mesosphere,
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 the
thermosphere,
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 and
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 the
the
exosphere.
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 Very good, very good. So these are the complete 5 layers of the atmosphere, right? And out of these 5 layers, we have already completed 2 layers yesterday, right? Which layer did we started about yesterday? Number 1
Troposphere.
Sphere,
and number 2
stratosphere,
Stratosphere.
Okay. So now today we'll see the third layer of the atmosphere, that is the mesosphere. Okay. Now this is the third layer of the earth and lies above the stratosphere. As can you see in the diagram, it is the third layer. Okay. First layer, which is closest, is the troposphere. Above that, the second layer is the stratosphere, and the third layer is the mesosphere. Please underline. Now we'll see what is the how this layer extends. Okay, it extends to a height of about 80 kilometers from the Earth's surface. All right, so can you make out the difference? If I'll ask you the height of troposphere, what is the height of troposphere from the Earth's surface?
8 to
50
15.
kilometer.
15 kilometers.
8 to 15.
15.
Right? And what is the height of stratosphere from the Earth's
50
surface?
50
kilometer.
kilometer.
Kilometers. And then now we are seeing mesosphere. What is the height of mesosphere from the Earth's
80
surface?
kilometers.
80 kilometers.
Can you make out the difference? Please
Yes, ma'am.
highlight the difference. Done. Now this layer has the coldest temperature of all layers, as it has no dust, clouds or water vapor to absorb heat. This is important. Now if you will see the earlier 2 layers which we had seen, they had drastic climatic changes, but here if you'll see, this layer is the coldest one, and this layer has no dust, neither clouds and neither water vapor. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. And this is why it is the coldest layer.
That is the reason it is the coldest one. Very good. And yesterday when we had studied about stratosphere, we noted one peculiarity about stratosphere for the jet planes, jet aircrafts. Why
Yes.
jet aircrafts could easily travel in stratosphere?
Ma'am, because it does not experience weather changes, ma'am.
Very good. Very good.
And it is
Very good.
relatively
It's stable, and that's the reason we have most of the jet aircrafts which travel from stratosphere. Now here, but if we'll see over here, it has the coldest temperature, right? Now the temperature may be between 90 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. So please note down the temperature. Okay. Next, the air in the mesosphere has extremely low density. That is 99.9% of the mass of the atmosphere is below the mesosphere. This is very important. How much percent of the mass of atmosphere is below the mesosphere?
99.9.
99.99%.
9%. Very good. All right. Now, as a result, because of this, what happens is air pressure is very low. Okay, because of that, what happens? The air pressure is very low. Now, meteors that enters the Earth's atmosphere burn up in this layer when they are exposed to ultraviolet radiation. Yesterday, we studied about ozone layer. Do you remember what is ozone layer?
Yes, ma'am. It is a layer present in the stratosphere.
Yes, it is a part of stratosphere. Very good. And what role does the ozone layer play?
Ma'am, it protects Earth from harmful ultraviolet rays of the sun.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. So now what happens over here is the Earth's atmosphere burn up in this layer, and then this layer gets exposed to the ultraviolet radiation. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So have you
Yes.
understood mesosphere, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let me ask you a few questions. So before I proceed with the fourth layer. Okay. Now third layer is which layer?
Mesosphere.
Mesosphere.
And what is the height of the mesosphere from the Earth's surface?
About 80 kilometers.
80
80
kilometers.
How
kilometer.
is the temperature over here?
Ma'am, it is the
Minus,
coldest.
it is the coldest.
Okay. Yes. And why is air pressure very low in mesosphere?
Ma'am, because ma'am, it has a low
Because it is
density.
extremely
Low
low
density.
density.
Yes. Apart from having, low air pressure, what does this mesosphere do?
And
What
when
does the
the meteors that enter the Earth's
Meteors that enter
atmosphere,
the
it burns
Earth
up in
surface,
this
the
layer
atmosphere burn up
due
in
to
this
the
layer when
air
they
that is
are
exposed
exposed to
Very good.
ultraviolet radiation.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Okay, so have you understood the third one?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, now
Yes.
next the fourth one, the thermosphere. Okay, thermosphere is the fourth layer, right? Just
Yes,
a minute,
ma'am.
children. Just a minute. I just don't want you all to get disturbed. Just a minute. Audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now check.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, now check.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, fine, no problem. Y'all are not audible to me. All right, this is the fourth layer. The thermosphere is the fourth layer, okay? And the atmosphere lies above the mesosphere and extends to a height of how many
90
kilometers?
kilometer. 90 kilometers.
90 kilometers.
Third layer and the fourth layer. Third layer it is 80 kilometer and the fourth layer it is
90
90
kilometers.
kilometers.
what above the Earth's surface. That is important. Please underline that. 90 kilometers what above the Earth's surface. Okay. Now temperature rises steeply upward from mesosphere right up to almost 1500 degrees Celsius. This is because the gas molecules observe the radiation of the sun. Now, how is the temperature over here in the thermosphere? Here the temperature, see, if you'll see the difference, mesosphere, the temperature is very cold.
Yes, ma'am.
The temperature is
Very
rising.
high.
Yes, can you see the difference? And why do you think the temperature is rising over here in this?
And because the gas molecules
Because the gas
absorb the
molecules
radiation of the
absorb the
sun.
radiation of the sun.
Over here it is increasing because of the gas molecules which was observed by the radiations of the sun. Clear, everyone? Have well understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Wait just a minute. Let's continue, children. When the gas molecules absorb the solar radiation, they become more active and move far apart. Therefore, what happens? The density of the air in this particular layer is very low. So you remember a mesosphere, and I told you why the air pressure is low in the mesosphere. Who will tell
Yes,
me?
ma'am.
And since it has a very low density.
Very good. But over here in this particular layer, why the density of the air is low?
Ma'am, because the gas
Because
molecules
the gas
absorb the
molecules
solar
absorb the solar
radiation and they
radiation
become
and
more
they
active.
become more active and more powerful.
Yes. So this is very important. You might get a give reason question on this. Please mark it. They might ask you, give reasons why the density of the air is very low in this particular layer. And the reason over here is it is just because the gas molecules, they absorb the solar radiation, and therefore what happens is they become more active and they move far apart from each other.
Yes,
Clear?
ma'am.
Now, in addition, what happens apart from that, gas molecules, they break up into particles. And what are these particles called as? Ions.
Ions.
Okay, please underline. Gas molecules may break up into particles called as ions. Therefore, the lower layer of this is called as ionosphere.
Ionosphere.
From where do we get this ionosphere?
Ma'am, because the ionosphere has ions in it, ma'am. That's why it is known as the
It has
ionosphere.
No, it is the gas molecules which is breaking out into ions, and therefore we have a new layer in this that is called the lower layer, which is also known as ionosphere. Clear? The
Yes, ma'am.
ion is in this layer reflect radio waves above the earth and therefore helps in long distance communication.
Ma'am, that's why space shuttles can go up. Ma'am.
Yes. Now you got it. That's the reason it helps in what happens over here. These ions, okay, which is there in the lower level, they reflect the radio waves back to the earth. And therefore, because of that, we could have long distance communication, right? Today we can communicate. We had lots of, technology coming up where we could communicate with people or relatives who are away from India as well, right?
Yes,
Easily.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So have you understood the fourth layer, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Next is the last and the fifth layer is the exosphere. All right. See, can you see there's a diagram also of troposphere, stratosphere, and then the top to have exosphere. Now, this is the fifth layer, and it is the final layer, okay, which is above the thermosphere. Now, this layer is just above the thermosphere. Now, and gradually merges into interplanetary space. It is the upper limit of the atmosphere. So, exosphere is usually called as the upper limit of the atmosphere. Please remember this. The temperature increases with the height. It contains traces of light gases such as helium and hydrogen. So which type of gases does exosphere contain, children? It contains
Helium and hydrogen.
hydrogen. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
And exosphere is which part of the atmosphere?
Interplanetary space.
Interplanetary.
And it is the upper limit of the atmosphere. Okay, the air is so rarefied that gas molecules may not collide with each other, and a few escape Earth's gravitational field altogether. So with the gas molecules which is there in this, which is present in this particular layer, what they do, they might not collide with each other, and because of that, what happens is the Earth's gravitational field is escaped. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Gas molecules may not collide with each other. Why? Because the air is rarefied. Okay. So these are the 5 different layers of atmosphere. Number 1.
Troposphere.
What is the height of troposphere from the Earth's surface?
8 to 15 kilometers.
15 kilometers.
Okay. Number 2.
Stratosphere.
Stratosphere.
This layer also has another layer or something called as ozone layer.
Ozone layer.
What does ozone layer do?
It protects the earth from
Ultraviolet rays of the sun.
What is the distance of this particular layer from the Earth's
50
surface?
kilometers. From the
50
Earth's
kilometer.
Very good. Next is the mesosphere.
The
The third layer.
mesosphere.
Now, this is what is the kilometer of this particular
80
layer?
kilometers.
80 kilometers.
80 kilometer.
Okay. And why is the air pressure low in this particular layer? Why do you think the air pressure is very
Ma'am, because it has extremely low density.
What is it?
Ma'am, it has a low density, ma'am, 99.9%.
Very good, 99.9%. Right? Now, the fourth layer. Fourth layer is
Thermosphere.
What is the height of thermosphere?
90 kilometers above from Earth's surface.
The Earth's surface.
And why is the density of air in this layer very low? Why? What happens in this layer?
And the gas molecules absorb the solar radiation. They become more active and they become far apart. And
Very
this
good. What does ionosphere mean? Who will tell me what do we mean by ionosphere? What does
the gas molecule. The gas molecules which break up into particles, they are called as ions, and this like the lower level of this layer, it is called as the ionosphere.
Very good, Shlok. Very good, very nice. And the last layer, which is also called as the upper limit of
Upper limit.
atmosphere, is what?
Exosphere.
Okay, exosphere contains which types of gases?
Helium and hydrogen.
Helium and
Helium and
hydrogen.
hydrogen.
Okay, clear everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Let's go on to the next page. We also have a video. Would you like to watch the video based upon the layers of atmosphere?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
just play that.
Around the Earth, including the air that we all breathe. The atmosphere might be invisible, but there's a lot going on up there. It has different layers, starting on the ground and stretching all the way up into space. The troposphere, the stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, exosphere. Let's explore each layer one by one. The troposphere. It is the first layer of the atmosphere. It's also the one where we all live in. It extends from the Earth's surface to about 12.5 miles in the sky. Our weather is formed in this sphere. Water evaporates from land to become snow or rain. The vapor contributes to the greenhouse effect. It traps the sun's heat close to our planet. As a result, warm or cool weather comes. Hot air balloons fly in this layer. The stratosphere. The layer above the troposphere is called the stratosphere. Stratosphere spans from the tropopause to about 31 miles up, containing about 20% of the Earth's gas. The ozone layer is found in this sphere, which protects us from harmful rays from the sun. The top part of the stratosphere is the hottest because the ozone layer generates a lot of heat. Airplanes and the jet aircraft fly in the stratosphere layer. Mesosphere. The next atmospheric layer is known as the mesosphere. It extends from the stratosphere to approximately 58 miles high. It is the coldest layer of atmosphere, about minus 130 degrees Fahrenheit near the top. This is the part where most meteors burn up. Sounding rockets and others may go up to the mesosphere. Thermosphere. It is the layer above the mesosphere. This layer spans almost 300 miles. It's very hot, as temperatures can reach up to 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. This is because the air in the thermosphere consumes lots of solar radiation. Most of the X-ray and UV radiations from the sun are absorbed in this sphere. Exosphere. It is the last layer of the atmosphere. The exosphere starts at the thermosphere, but it doesn't really have a sharp end. Instead, it just thins out till it gets empty as the outer space. Its temperature varies between night and day. At night, it becomes freezing cold, while during the daytime, it can be very, very hot. In this layer, atoms and molecules escape into space, and the satellites orbit the Earth. The layer of the atmosphere that reflects radio waves is the ionosphere. It is the region of the Earth's atmosphere between the stratosphere and the exosphere.
Ma'am, the video is done.
Video was very beautiful, right? Animated.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Isn't it? You all enjoyed the video?
Yes, ma'am.
It was like a revision for you all. All these 5 layers are very important, students. You will definitely get a question based upon this, either in the form of an objective type or in a form of a short term.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is a bit low and not clear, ma'am.
Now am I audible?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, you can't hear.
Oh, ma'am.
Not audible to you all?
Ma'am, you are audible, ma'am, but it is very shabby and like very low in voice, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just saying that please make sure that you all are thorough with all these 5 years, because we definitely get an objective question based upon this, either an objective or a short form. Yeah?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Next page. Now we will study about the
Ma'am, this is the next page, ma'am. Importance of the atmosphere.
now we are going to study about the importance of the atmosphere. So if you will see, it is given.
Ma'am, you are not audible.
Is not clear.
I'm not audible.
No, ma'am,
Ma'am,
very
you
low.
are.
Now,
Ma'am, you are, but
It is
it is
very low.
very low.
I'm barely able to hear.
now check.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, it's
still it is
still the
low.
same.
It is the same.
Okay. So the first one is carbon dioxide of plants. Okay. Now these are all the importance of atmosphere. Plants require carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. I hope you all know what is the process of photosynthesis.
Yes, ma'am, we know what is photosynthesis.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
What about photosynthesis? What happens in photosynthesis?
Ma'am, photosynthesis is the process through which plants make their own food, ma'am, with the help of carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight.
Now, in this process, they not only prepare their own food, but they also release oxygen. Keeps air healthy to breathe. You remember yesterday's class, we saw that humans inhale what? Oxygen, right? And they carbon dioxide. It is the right. So during the photosynthesis of photosynthesis, plants not only prepare their own food, but also release oxygen. Okay, so this is important. Number one, carbon dioxides.
Ma'am, it's okay now. The
plants.
voice is now very good.
Yes. Okay. Next point is oxygen sustains life. This is also clear that if you want a life, all living organisms in the Earth's crust to live, we require what? Oxygen.
Oxygen.
Yes. So the presence of oxygen in the atmosphere is essential for respiration, right, of all living organisms. If there's no oxygen, then what will happen?
And we all will die, ma'am, because we can't respirate
Ma'am,
then.
no
So
life
this
will
is
sustain.
the second important importance of oxygen. All right. Next is the greenhouse effect. This is very important. Okay, please make a note of it and be thorough with it, because you will definitely be asked a question based upon greenhouse effect. The Earth receives the sun's heat. How? By radiation during the day, right? And at night, what happens is the Earth radiates this heat into space. Okay, so can you just understand the process? First, it is the Earth, okay, which receives sun's heat.
And first they receive in the day,
Okay.
and in the night they give it away. Then.
Yes, and in the night, the heat is being radiated into the space. Now, however, what happens is the carbon dioxide and the water vapor that is the living organ. Okay, this is called as the greenhouse effect. Please understand, first of all, Earth receives what? Sun's heat during the daytime, and that heat is transformed into the space during the night time. Now, what happens is during that, the carbon dioxide and as well as the water vapor, it mixes with gases like methane, and they trap this particular heat so that they could provide a sustainable and a moderate temperature for the living organisms. This entire process is called as what? The greenhouse effect. Please underline this. You might get a short note to write and explain what is the greenhouse effect, or justify about the greenhouse effect. How does the process work? Okay. Fourth importance is the protection of the ultraviolet sun's rays. Now, we studied about the ozone layer yesterday,
Yes, ma'am.
which is included in the second layer, that is the stratosphere.
Yes,
Right. So now what happens over here? The atmosphere filters the harmful ultraviolet rays received from the sun. Through what? Because of the ozone layer which is present in it. Okay, so we also read it yesterday that ozone layer acts like a thick blanket which protects the entire Earth's crust from the harmful ultraviolet rays. Clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Fifth point is the protection of the meteors. Okay, the thermosphere. Thermosphere is which layer, children?
Ma'am, the fourth layer.
The fourth layer.
Very good. It is the fourth layer. And how much, what is a kilometer from the Earth's surface?
90 kilometer above the
90
Earth's
kilometer.
surface.
Very good. 90 kilometer above the Earth's surface. Now the thermosphere burns up all the metals that enter the Earth's atmosphere, and it protects us from the frequent damage by the metrosphere. So this is so important, isn't it? So
Ma'am,
this
whenever those meteors come, it burns them, ma'am, so that it cannot enter the Earth.
enter the Earth's surface, right? And so it's acting like as a protection, right, for the entire Earth's crust, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Earth's atmosphere. Yes. Next is the weather. Now, what do you think? Which particular layer is responsible for most of the weather changes?
Troposphere.
The troposphere.
Ma'am, because
Right.
it is closest to the Earth, ma'am. That's
Yes, so this particular layer has not extreme weather conditions, right? Over here, the temperature changes as well as the air pressure changes drastically, and in this particular layer, that is the troposphere. Because of that, what happens? It causes winds, it causes precipitation, it causes rainfall, snow sustaining life through the water cycle. Okay, so these are all the extreme climatic changes which happens in this particular layer. Yesterday we studied about inert gases. Like, can you name few inert gases which we studied yesterday?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, helium, argon,
neon, xenon,
neon, xenon,
methane
ray.
and
Very
methane.
good. Very good. So these all are called as the inert gases. All right. Now they are present in the atmosphere. They are important for what? For all the resources. That is the natural resources. Okay. So we get natural resources through these gases. So these are all the 7 importance of atmosphere. Everybody understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.